Warm greetings, everyone. I'm Anubhuti Shekhar, the City President for Devghar District, Jharkhand of Wiki Water Resource Council. Welcome you all on behalf of Monday Munching and Musing with Women for Water. This is an initiative of the Eco Development and Research Cell, a not-for-profit initiative of the Environmental Design Consultants, Ahmedabad, with support of Water Resource Council of Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Wiki WRC, and in collaboration with W4W Foundation, and our media partner is Counterview. I am joined today with Dr. Mansi Balbhargava, who is the National President of Wiki Water Resource Council. Welcome, Mansi. We are glad to start the conversation, namely Monday Munching and Musing with Women for Water, which we colloquially refer to as Blue Lips, among us, aim to share the worries and the wisdom by the women, for the women, of the women in the water sector. In here, we hope to learn about the water endeavors in a regular disciplined manner like a masterclass. Today, in this session, we are here to listen and know more about Sweta Jhunjhunwala. Sweta is passionate about water sustainability, women empowerment, and education. And these are the pillars of Tulsipatra Foundation, an NGO she founded in October 2020. Recently, she was invited to be on the Advisory Council of People's World Commission on Drought and Flood, a commission chaired by Dr. Rajendra Singh, Waterman of India. She is combining her 25 years of corporate technology and management experience and last 10 years of social sector experience to make an impact at scale. Her strength is in connecting the dots, connecting ideas and people. She is employed by a firm that is working on leveraging carbon offsets for social impact with capital efficiency. Their audacious goal is to positively impact 1 billion lives. She enjoys art, music, drama, and cinema. She loves swimming and walking. She holds a BE Computers degree from VJTI Mumbai and MS Sustainability in Water from Columbia University, New York. Thank you, Sweta, for joining us today. I would like to start the conversation by knowing, how did you step into water journey? How did you decide that you want to work in this sector? And what are your current engagements in water sector right now?
Hi, Anubhuti. Thanks for that kind introduction. Am I audible properly?
Yeah.
So I'll start from now, what I'm doing now with water, right? Like you heard about the People's World Commission on Drought and Flood. I got inspired by Dr. Rajendra Singh ji, and he invited me to be an advisory council of the commission. This commission is going to work on solutions for drought and flood based on indigenous technologies, indigenous ways, how things are done in India. And we are going to spread this word across the world. In fact, we're going to UN conference next month to actually talk about it, so that the world can see how India has done some resilient solutions, how they have done indigenous ways to avoid drought and flood. It's a huge problem right now in the world. Now, going backwards, so if I go a few years back, in 2018, I was visiting India. I used to live in the United States. I was visiting India to see some projects which were funded by Asia Initiatives, an NGO of which I'm on the board of. And we went to places in Orcha and Khajuraho, in MP and UP, in Bundelkhand. And I saw the work, what was being done there. And I met Mr. Sanjay Singh, Dr. Sanjay Singh, who's the founder of Parmarth. And he really pushed me very hard that you are one of the few people I know who's a woman in water, which right now in the last 5 years, thanks to people like Mansi, it has changed drastically. She's making a huge effort to bring all the women in water together. But then it was not as good. And still, we are still struggling. We still have women working in water, but we don't have enough of them. But he has really pushed me hard that you need to do something about water and not let it go. Don't just do any NGO work. You need to focus on water. But going back a few more years, in 2010, when I was working with PepsiCo did a project with Columbia University with Dr. Upman Ulal from the Water Center of Columbia. And I saw that project working with PepsiCo. I was like, what am I doing working in IT and tech? I need to go and do something real. I need to go and work and study at Columbia University, get my master's. And that inspired me to go do my master in sustainability management, where I started focusing on water. So my water journey really started in 2010. And Dr. Lal, Dr. Singh, all these people have been instrumental in getting me where I am today. And of course, my mentor right now is Dr. Rajendra Singh, who is the waterman of India, right? So that's just the water journey, if you may see. Now, what do I want to do? There's a lot one can do. If you see rivers of Mumbai, they are not rivers. They have become like sewage canals. And we really need to work on that. But, you can only take so much at a time. My focus right now is to focus on river rejuvenation under guidance of Dr. Rajendra Singh ji, but do it with technology. My background of 30 years is working in technology. I did my bachelor's in computer science. So what I want to do is I want to map all these rivers as they existed 20, 30 years ago, and then see how they are today. If you see the river map 20 years ago and now, you will clearly see the difference. You will tell why it is flooding. I will not tell why it is flooding. You will say why it is flooding. It will come from you because it's obvious. We've encroached into the river area. We have taken away the area where it's supposed to be a river, and we made it our home. We've encroached, we built buildings in it. So it's going to, of course, flood, right? Because it's not supposed to be a river area. It's not supposed to be a building area. So that's one of the reasons how I want to apply technology to water. I want to really bring in, there are a lot of people working on water on the ground, and they have a lot of ground knowledge. They have a lot of indigenous knowledge, but how to bring out technology to make them go more efficiently, go faster, and make the right decisions. Again, with technology, we can have the conversations much better. If I'm going to the government and talking about something and I show them the river now, they'll say it was always like this. But if I go back and show them, these are pictures which were taken 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and the conversation completely changes. So this is my passion, to bring in technology and mix it with the water, but not do technology for sake of technology. So an example would be dams, right? Dams were built years ago, and when they were built, it made sense to do it. But the idea was to just build huge structures. What we've come with wisdom, we've realized that it's important to build smaller structures, not a huge big dam. Build small check dams. So things like that, which we are learning with time and learning with experience. Those are things I want to implement, leveraging technology. Does that answer your question? Or is there any part left?
It very much does. Like you mentioned about technology and not just using technology for the sake of using it, that's like very important, because in today's generation, what we are learning is not only doing something for the environment, but taking technology with us and doing something. But I also feel it's very important to like interact, like you mentioned, working with the indigenous people and understanding how the process goes. That's the most fun part, and that would helps in the long run also.
Sure.
So like you mentioned about, have you already started the river projects that you are mentioning, or you will be doing it?
So there's a program going on in Maharashtra called Chala Januya Nadila, where we are mapping 108 rivers in Maharashtra as Jal Biradri, as the organization under Rajendra Singh ji. And there are lots of people on the ground working on this. So that work is going on. We are helping with technology on that. But I think the bigger part is community, how we organize as a community. The way the world is going, we don't have time anymore to do individual, this is my work or this is mine. It is not about me. It is about the river. The river is an entity, and where does the river flow from where to where, and how we'll revive that river. You could have multiple people working on different portions of the river, but we all have to come together and rejuvenate that river as one. So that's the community-driven, decentralized thinking of water management is what is required.
Right. So you mentioned about the projects that you are already part of. So can you throw some highlight on what kind of activities you face problem with working with the community? Were there any difficulties working with indigenous people? How did you tackle with those difficulties? Right. Just a brief idea.
I think based on what I'm doing, I'm working so it's not necessarily indigenous people. It's more about communities in their areas using indigenous techniques.
Okay.
So these are not technically, as we define indigenous people, they are Indians. They're not indigenous. So to speak, right? So there are people like you and me who are actually citizens who want to make a difference. So in fact, I've not found problems. I have found them very supportive. I mean, I don't want to, like, the challenge they have is they don't have enough time in the day. Everybody has a job and everybody is trying to volunteer for this work. That is the challenge they have. And everybody wants to learn. Youngsters, older people, everybody wants to learn, wants to make a difference. And they all have jobs, right? We all have to live our lives. And there's not enough funding for us to take care of all of us if all of us took care of rivers. So people find time whenever they can. Some people have more time, some people have less. So people contribute in their own way. So that's the only challenge we have sometimes. I don't think there's anybody who doesn't want to do the work or who's not interested. They want to hear new ideas. Everybody wants to learn from each other. I'm going to digress a little bit and talk about Jagrati Yatra.
Okay.
Have you heard of that? So Jagrati Yatra is a train ride, which is 8,000 kilometers in 15 days. And it goes from Mumbai to Kanyakumari to Bangalore, Chennai. It goes to Bihar. It goes to Orissa. Then it goes to Delhi, Rajasthan, Ahmedabad, and back to Bombay. Now, in this yatra, there were 22,000 people who applied for it, and 500 youngsters got selected. Now, the reason I'm bringing it up is what I'm seeing, what the new India is like. The 500 youngsters who got selected, they were so collaborative. I was there in this yatra. I had the privilege of being there this December to January. And the way the country is changing right now, it's amazing. The youngsters they think about the country. They want to learn about the country. You should have seen them in different places, how they went about asking questions, how they dealt with the village people, how they try to understand what happens in villages, as opposed to just going and giving their advice. It was beautiful to see that. This is a changing India, and we have to acknowledge that. So to me, that's the same energy in the water sector. We have people who want to do work. There is this young boy called Malhar Kalambe. Every weekend, without fail, he is cleaning beaches. He's cleaning the Mithi River. He's cleaning the Airoli mangroves. He has a group of people. They go every weekend and clean. Every weekend. You would think young people are busy partying, but that's not his goal. His goal is doing this, and I see him knee deep in gum boots cleaning the beaches. So to me, the energy is there, and the challenges are only in our mind. They are not with people. If you think it's a challenge, you need to step back and think, what is a challenge? And why do you think it's a challenge? Right? So to me, I don't find anything challenging. That's my persona as well. To me, I just take everything and just deal with it. Right? So,
like you mentioned about how Rajendra ji inspired you, just to tell you that when I was in 11th, I also went to their organization, and Rajendra ji was someone who inspired me to take water as my master. So at 11th, I didn't know if I want to work on this sector or not, but the way I saw how he worked with the community and the people, that was something that I picked from there, that I want to work in the water sector. So like, it was very enriching. I can really imagine.
He's so charismatic, and it comes very naturally for him. And lately I've been working very closely with him. So I see that is him. It is not that he's putting on something or anything. It's just him. Yeah. That's how he thinks. But similarly, I'll tell you about Geeta Mehta, who's a mentor for me personally as well. She's the founder of Asia Initiatives in New York. And she's the same kind of personality. When I go to her with a problem, she doesn't see it as a problem. She says she finds different ways of dealing with people as well. She always thinks of the other person. What is their challenge? Why are they behaving in that manner? As opposed to figuring out why it's a problem for you. So I think people like this, like Rajendra Singh ji and Geeta, are born different. If I get some element of them, I'm happy. That's the way I look at it, right? They bring something else to the world. And these people should be revered. They should be encouraged. We should do whatever we can, right? That is what our goal should be. And Geeta has started this NGO, Asia Initiatives, in New York. She started in Japan, then she took it over to New York. And she does a lot of projects. She does water projects. She does livelihood projects in all over India. So it's really exciting to work with her. In fact, she's going to be here next month. Hopefully, I can introduce her to our organization. So just inspired by all this, I'll tell you a little story about my foundation. So during COVID, we were trying to help people with various things. So I was trying to get those ventilators, the oxygen concentrators, not ventilators, oxygen concentrators we were trying to get. I used to book tickets for my servants and my staff on the floor in the building. To train tickets, I used to book for them online because they couldn't go to station. And it was very difficult, and they had to go to the villages. I used to do little things, whatever I could, give food somewhere, and then I was helping with computers. So I said, where can I use my skills of technology and bring them to bear in COVID time? So I decided there are companies, and I had done a job before that, and my company had tons of computers lying there. I said, it's time to take those computers and give it to the kids. When COVID ends, when things come back, computers will not be used. These are old computers. Nobody will use them. So I started working through that. So we gave about 100 computers to kids. But when I started this conversation about giving computers to kids, the conversation always went to, so who are you? Who is Sweta Jhunjhunwala? And I was like, okay, I'm just a human being, just a Samaritan. I want to do good. But somehow people didn't just trust that. That's when I said, okay, I need to set up a foundation. I need to set up something which is hardcore, which is on the ground, which has some certificates and all the paperwork is there. So that's when I set up Tulsipatra Foundation. That inspired me to set up. But since then, I'm very proud I did, because now I have three pillars. Women empowerment, where I try and connect with women. And this is more at a personal level, I'm doing it. I connect with women wherever I can and help them in any which way. It could be family, it could be some friend's friend. If I see a woman struggling with an issue, I get engaged. In the past, I used to say, no, not my problem. But now I think of it as, no, it is absolutely my problem. If she has an issue, I have to help her. If I can, whatever I can. I don't claim to be able to help anybody, right? But that is the way I look at it. And then water sustainability, I'm doing through Rajinder Singh Ji's organization. Also in my job, where I work for Carbon Impact Capital, what we are doing right now is we are providing drinking purifiers, water purifiers to people in villages. So organizations like Parmarth and Tarun Bharat Sangh, they do projects for water access. They rejuvenate rivers, they rejuvenate ponds, all of that. But that water is not necessarily drinkable. Because it is open source, it has biological contamination, and sometimes it also has arsenic, sometimes it has fluoride, iron, different things. So the water people are drinking is not really clean. In order to make it clean, they still need to purify it. So we are setting up a carbon project where we would deliver water purifiers to these places, remote places. And the experience that I have going to those places, talking to the people, it is unbelievable. Like you go to the village in India, people are not unhappy. They have little, but they're extremely happy. And they're happy to share that little with you. That is the best part. They never say they don't have. They say, no, come, please come, have tea with us. Please have dinner with us, have lunch with us. They'll share whatever little they have with you. And they're happy. But we know when we compare with our city lives, the kind of things we have, then we say, no, they need to get, and they're not aware. Half the time, they're not aware that they're drinking not clean water. So creating the awareness, bringing the awareness, making sure the women are involved in the whole process. Because they're also doing these chulas, they have wooden chulas, where the smoke goes, they inhale it. Women are not ready to give up those chulas because of the taste of the food for their families. So we kind of remind them, look, your health is more important to your family than the taste of the food. If your health will not be good, the taste won't matter. You won't be able to make it, doesn't matter. So just working with those women, understanding their life, they actually go to the jungle and pick up wood for hours. They're walking, they bring up all the heavy wood, bring it back home, and then cook the meals, all of that. So just, even though it's my job to go and work there and interview those women and survey them and understand their needs, I don't feel it's my job. I feel like it's something which is my passion. I want to do it. And that's why I'm doing it. So I don't know, I digress, but just wanted to share that about villages in India. I'm just passionate about it, so I can't help myself.
No.
So I'll tell you one more thing.
Yeah.
In the US, I lived there for 20 years. So I had my user ID password for my Wi-Fi. The SSID was water and the password was everyone. So my goal was to bring clean water to everyone. And finally, I think I'm getting a chance to do it through my job. And with the job, because it's a job, I'm able to make a larger impact. While I was doing things with my Tulsipatra Foundation, the impact was much smaller. I could make a difference still, and I still want to keep on doing it. And it's not me doing it. I'm meant to do it, so I'm doing it the way I look at it. But when you want to have a larger impact, and with my experience that I've had with IT, working in PepsiCo as a Center of Excellence head, I have all the experience to do large impact work. So this is the best part of my life. I think this is the best time of my life, where everything of it is coming together, my work experience, my passion, and I'm able to do it. That's the way I look at it, the time of my life.
Thank you, Sweta ji. Just one more question, and then I will hand it over to Mansi ma'am. So we all know that like water sector needs a lot of going to the field and engaging with people, which means like we need extra hours outside of like family. So was it difficult for you to balance work and life? How did you manage? Did you ever feel that you had to compromise because of professional or personal field?
Yeah. So there are a couple things here. First and foremost, if you love what you do, it really doesn't matter. You don't think of it as work, you think of it as fun. So personally, you don't feel like you're not balancing. Of course, when it comes to family, they have different expectations. And I happen to be single, so I have a little more freedom than most people who are married and have kids. But having said that, I do have a family. I have my brother, sister-in-law, and nephews, and they have expectations too. When I'm gone for days, they do get annoyed. They do say, "Where are you, Bua? We want you here. Why are you traveling so much? You better go back to US. What's the point of you living in India if you can't be here, right?" But having said that, they understand what I want to do, where I want to get to. So if you're enjoying what you're doing, and my advice to young people now will be, you have to maintain work-life balance. You cannot, because there's time and place for everything. And when people say, no, I'm working on water, I don't have time to get married, I don't have time to have kids. I haven't had those, but my advice to them would be, that's a wrong answer. Time, you have to manage your time, and you have to get married. If you meet the right person, it's worth getting married. It doesn't matter how old you are, how much busy you are. You're not going to meet that person again. Likewise, if you want to have kids, there's only a certain amount of age when you can have kids. Beyond that, you will not be able to have kids. So you better do it at that time and find time. And I believe that if you step back and think about it, you can find time for everything. You would have to take out the extra stuff from your life. You have to take out the, say, gossiping. The Netflix goes away for a few years. It's okay. It's not going to matter. All those series will be there after 5 years also. You can catch up later. So there are things you need to take out, but you have to prioritize. And work-life balance is about your priority. Again, if you're doing what you love, it won't matter. That's my belief is. And I got it from my father. My father, he was a businessman. Business people don't have 9 to 5 jobs. They are working 24/7. He would wake up in the morning at 7. He would be calling people. He would be on speaker. We'd be yelling, "Dad, put off the phone. Dad, put off the phone. We want to sleep." But he would do it. So that's the whole point, that you just do what you have to do. And don't think of it as work and life. It's all you. And I believe, this is just like my belief, that we are human beings. These are all means to an end. Doing a job, doing in water, or doing in technology, these are all means to an end. We are here as a network of people. It's all about who you connect with as human beings. That's the end of the day, how you've lived your life. When I'm 70, it's not going to matter whether I originated one river or I did huge technology program for a company. It won't matter. It will only matter who I met, who am I talking to today, what connections I've made, what memories I have. That's the way I look at it. So does that answer?
Yeah.
So I do want to share one thing about my childhood. So when I was when I got admission in engineering in VGTI, my uncle asked me, and my family head was my uncle. He was my dad's older brother. We lived in a joint family of 20. My uncle asked me that, why do you want to do engineering? Some boy will take this seat and he will feed his family. You're a girl. We are going to get you married and you're going to have kids. Why are you doing this? I said, I got the marks. I deserve to study. I will study. He said, okay, fine. And plus I got into VJTI, which was a government college, so not very expensive. We didn't have too much money, to be honest. So it was also that mindset that we are going to waste all this money in this education. What's the point? But at the end of the day, once I graduated, my dad, when he would go to his vendors, he would tell them my daughter is in VJTI. They would tell him, oh my God, like he didn't understand the importance of it, and they understood it. So when he would come back and say and be proud about it, that's what mattered. Now we lived in a joint family in a chawl system. So I would study at night when everybody had gone to sleep. I would turn on the lights in the chali and I would study there. Now, when I was going through that process, never once did it occur to me that, oh my God, it's such a hardship. Oh, that time it was just, this is what I have to do. And I used to enjoy that process. Even though my friends had all the conveniences and all of that, never once did I think that, oh, I'm struggling. But I think that's where we need to start thinking, that you need to stop thinking of struggle and just do what you have to do. Things will come to you. And they did come to me. I believe in the theory of abundance. If there's enough for everybody in the world, we just have to go out and grab it. So I think that's a little bit about myself.
Thank you so much, Sweta ji. I will just hand it over to Mansi ma'am.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Anubhuti, for taking this conversation until now. Thank you so much. And I was really enjoying listening to both of you, because both of you have started your journey from Rajendraji's, learning. So which is also something which you both can share later on as well. And also, Sweta, I can see your passion, and now we know each other for quite some time now. And I'm really looking forward to doing more work together. And you mentioned some important points, which I'm going to pick and ask my questions to you. You talked about that it is important in life that who we know, who we meet, how do we work with each other. So these networks are extremely important. That you very well put, and you are seeing that we are trying to work hard in this Water Resource Council of the Wiki, and to make sure that more women gets presence and visibility in the country. You also mentioned that there is a conscious effort towards it to bring that aspect here, because we are trying to celebrate women in water sector and really making their presence felt, because there are many women working. It's just about bringing the network and making it louder and amplifying it. But just to get your understanding, because you are working both at the urban sector, you have worked in the US, you are also working in the rural sector, you do recognize, and you started this conversation also with the point that there are not many women in the sector, or there are not many women who are recognized in the sector, will be a better way to put it. What is your take on it? How do you see it, that why are we not recognized, or why there are not many women in the sector? We still fare worse than the world, because in the world, women professionals are 1 in 5. And in India, we don't fare like that. So A, there is a number problem in the water sector. And then B, of course, there is a visibility problem. But knowing your experience, what is your take on both the aspects?
So I think first and foremost, we have to look at our history. We, as a culture, as a country, as a culture, as a tradition, we have never expected our women to work. And in India, the work is related to money. If you're working means
that
you're working for money.
Also.
Yeah. Not because a woman wants to work, not because she wants to go out and do something about it. So I think part of it is where we create that awakening, where we encourage women to get out and work, not for money, but because you have to feel your own self-esteem. You have to realize your own potential. I'll give you a personal example. My sister was here last week, and I was convincing her, she's a housewife and she's way smarter than me. And she was way better than me in a lot of things before she got married. But I was trying to convince her, okay, it's done. You got married into a traditional family, you're all set. Now it's time you get out. You can still do things. So what if you're 50 plus? You can still go out. So I think it's us women to encourage each other. When we see an opportunity, to push other women to do and support them. Also to recognize that only a woman can give birth. That job a man cannot do, how much ever. But to recognize and help them when they're going through a process. And when they come back from it, to bring them and put them in places where they can do better. I think a lot of it is motivating each other, creating that network of bringing them out. Other is, we have to work on men. It's not just women. That's the part we forget.
Very well put. Yeah.
So the mothers have to bring up their sons, telling them that your wife, it's not about the money she brings in. She is a human being as much as you are. And she has equal self-esteem and intelligence as you do, or more for that matter. I think women are more intelligent. That's my take.
But interestingly, it's the society which looks or which manifests work is equal to end of the month income, or end of the year some income tax, and wealth generation. Whereas we see many women are working, but probably not directly associated to a monetary return for that matter out of it, because we feel like working, we work. So somewhere there is a distinction between work for employment and work for, enlightenment, or, for your own well-being, or, contributing. That also is coming out clear in women's case, many women's case.
I'll tell you, the villages are better off than the cities, I'll tell you. So
I have no doubts on that, to be honest.
So we in the city have more of that. I have to work for money. I have to get to home at 5 o'clock. I have to take the train or bus or get home, drive, all that. Whereas, I mean, you met the Jal Sahelis, right?
Yes.
We're trying to empower them. We're trying to give them the tools they need. Now, once you bring them out of their house, they make the whole network. And then they're there for each other. I think that is the formula we have to apply everywhere. We have to apply in the cities as well. How do we support each other? Like and women are saddled with all the basic work, which is a daily work, right? Men have to do finance. You don't have to do finance every day. You can do once a week, but women have to cook. Can you do without cooking? No. So you have to cook every day, right? So
you have to take care of the house every day. There is no
give a
excuse
simple
and
example.
escape from it.
Yeah. So, but I don't suggest we should just go the way the West has gone and get frozen food and all of that. I don't suggest that. I suggest that we bring men in the kitchen with us and say, okay, let's cook together. You help me. I'm going for a job. You are going for a job. It is up to us to drive that. That if we work together, then we can
Extremely
both
hard nut to crack, huh? Extremely hard nut to crack.
But I think
we
that's
all are facing it.
Yeah. But I mean, unless we do it, it's not going to happen, right? And it's going to be little by little. A lot has changed. I think women are getting more opportunities also, right? And then there are jobs which women are better than at men. So let's identify those jobs and bring them to people. So to me, that will also help, right?
Yeah. You did mention about holding each other's hand, which we are trying to do as a sisterhood concept, you know, promoting each other's work, knowing each other's work. I mean, we were not knowing each other, the 70 set of women, you know. Now we are trying to know who is doing what, where is, and I'm also aware that a lot of women are also trying to collaborate with each other. They are looking for collaboration from each other if they find some interesting work and all. So these are little ways we can bring a difference, you know. In I need to understand. One of the ways is that we hold our hands together and get it, you know, through, and we try. At least we have to give it a try. But if we look at women as an individual, what do you think? What kind of skill sets women should really, you know, go for to improve their presence, improve their work, you know, work, I will say, output. And I think it is more about presence also, as we both agree that there are many women who are working. It is just that they are probably not recognized. But then what kind of skill sets or what kind of activities women should really do so that the society recognizes their work more, apart from we doing through the platform. As individual also, we need to build some you know, skills development. So because I'm asking this question, because in future we are going to get into some kind of skill development programs and all, so that we can bring forth those aspects, you know.
I just sharing what I think, what helped me in my life, right? Basic was, of course, the education helped me definitely, no question about that. Right? That is one of my pillars for my NGO for that reason, that is a core. But even if not the education, if you look at a lot of CEOs of companies, a lot of people doing very well, it is not, they're not necessarily all educated with a lot of degrees. So to me, it's communication.
Yes.
And confidence.
Art of communication. Yes. Very well put. And confidence skills are important.
Yeah. Building confidence and speaking with a voice, but a voice as in not like, so there is a balance to what is aggressive versus assertive. Women are always blamed to be aggressive as opposed to allowing them to be assertive.
That's our patriarchal society. Huh? Those who speak more are considered to be aggressive. I mean, as long as women don't speak, they are in a very good zone. I mean, then we put them into the vulnerable side. But then when they start talking, they become aggressive. So where do we find leadership skills then?
So I want to share one theory of mine. I spent my years when I'm between 30 and 45 in the US, where the women have a little bit more platform to speak and to do things. Whereas women who were my age group, who worked in Indian organizations, they tend to be more aggressive. And the reason for that is they were not heard. So they feel like everything they have to say has to be in an aggressive manner. Unfortunately, that's how things have happened for them. And I understand why they are the way they are. But I think times are changing now. We can take a platform. We can be more assertive. And there's a way to be assertive. And we should coach each other. We should help each other to be that way. And make sure that our platform is such that they find a safe space to practice. And then we are there for each other. If you go for an event, say 3 of us go together. If one of us is speaking, the other 2 are there to support that person.
Yes.
Whatever it be, right? We have to have that blind support sometimes to build that confidence. So to me, confidence building, skill building, like you have to know what you're talking about. You can't talk just...
Yeah, like technology is a very important skill to be built, you know. or or whatever they have been educated, they should be able to exploit that education to their work.
And talk about it. See, oftentimes people have knowledge, but they can't talk about it. And you can only talk if you have a few forums where you've spoken, the next time you'll be able to speak. That's the way.
In fact, next month, I am going to conduct a workshop through Wiki WRC. So art of speaking and writing, because I think that is extremely important for women to be, to make themselves more visible, you know. Absolutely. You write, you speak, and there are certain tricks which you can learn very quickly. I mean, of course, those women who are aspiring, they already know these are important life skills for that matter, professional skills required. But those who think, who would like to sharpen it, or what are the tricks one should know, the practical tips and all. And this is important skill which one should adhere to, especially when we are talking about the women in the leadership role, you know, that becomes extremely important. So you were already mentioning that you are doing a lot of those other things, and you also mentioned these things. But how do you think we should do through our platform? What more activities we should be doing through the platform which we are trying to build, you know? Because I think we have to get to that stage after a year of, you know, building this bond and building this platform. We have to take a leap now with some support from all of the other ladies. So what kind of activities we should be doing? I mean, I know you are doing a lot as individual, but through the platform.
So once upon a time, I'll tell you, personally, even I struggle sometimes in India, when there's a huge crowd and I have to speak about something, I have to make sure I write it down. Because once you start talking and then suddenly everybody's looking at you, you kind of get like, oh my God, now what? You know, your brain stops working. So one is building techniques on how to do this, how to communicate in a crowd, effective public speaking and things like that.
Yes.
So we can offer these courses, but we also need a chance to practice them. So
yes, of course. So creating an environment where they can speak and, you know, bring, okay, yes, absolutely. Very well put.
So we should have our own conferences as well, I feel.
Yes, we are planning to have one as an annual conference. Let's hope for the best. I have already started digging for some grants and location and everything.
Right,
But I think very well put. Or if not annual conference of ours, but then, you know, something is happening in Mumbai. So let's say I propose your name, or something happening here, you know someone, and you propose other sister's name, and so on and so on.
And bringing people in. So I did this Nadiki Pathshala in Pune, right? So I reached out to Anuja because she was the only one in Pune. There was one more person, I invited both of them. I said, just come and attend. And it was a great in for her. Now she's part of this whole other network, which she wasn't part of in Pune. Right? So I think that's where we can help each other, keeping an eye out for each other. When something is happening in different places, bring in women. And I think you do this fantastically. Whenever you see a conference poster of all men, your alarm bell goes out.
No, we have to make them realize. I mean, I'm really hoping once we have this stabilized network, we send this list of people and with an India map, that if you are organizing something in Bihar, if you're organizing something in West Bengal, here is a list of women. Please get them on board. The least we can, so that they don't have to take a pain to find them out. We will find it out for you and just use them.
Because they're experts. They know what they're doing. They have the skills. They have the talent. But I
think it's kind of helping the society also, because sometimes we may be harsh in the way we look at men in water, but we have to also understand that we live in a patriarchal society. When all men are doing things, it is considered natural by men and also by women and the society at large. You know, so if we come up with this kind of idea and constructive idea, where we say that here is a list, please invite some of them from your region and all, it will be greatly helpful. I know which has happened recently at Irma Anand, where we were the only woman in the entire conference, and we had the only woman panel also in the entire conference, where I presented women as a resource, you know. But the conference was water or asset management. I said woman herself is an asset which requires a better packaging and management in the society. So something like this we have to continue doing. But I think you really put the things very well in the perspective for not only how you are doing things. There's so much to learn, the way you're talking about how technology can be brought forward, or whatever skill sets we have, we really need to harness it to the maximum. You also really well talked about we need to really look at the way we see weaknesses and all, and be more stronger within at least here first, then take the things head on.
Highlight your strengths. Don't worry about your weaknesses. That's the important part. So look at your strengths and just highlight them. The weaknesses will disappear. So I'm going to get some advice from you while we're at it.
Yes.
I'm organizing a training in a few weeks, a couple of weeks. Now the training is for Chala Januya Nadila, and we're inviting a lot of people.
Know your rivers.
We're inviting a lot of people. The training is going to be for people who are working in rivers around Pune. Now, in the group that is working on it, I only see men. The only women which are there are more intellectual women, not on the ground women working on the rivers, because there aren't actually. So unlike
there are not many.
Unlike Bundelkhand, where Sanjay ji has done a good job with Jal Sahelis, so when you invite people on the ground, women come. Other states, it's not the same way. So we really need to think about how we are going to take that model and apply elsewhere. So in this training, the plan is to have a session on how to involve women. And all these people who are actually doing this work, all these men, we are going to question them. That where
how do we get more women?
Exactly. So I think I'm going to come back with a solution, I hope, after the training. I don't hope.
At least one of the ways, one approach you will definitely crack in this training program. So we really wish you best for the training program. We do look forward to what the results are, or what kind of interactions happen. I'm sure you are going to share with us. And I think that brings my role towards an end, and I will hand it over to Anubhuti. Thank you so much, Sweta, to really answer so candidly. And Anubhuti, the last question is also targeted to people like you. So maybe it's better you ask the last question. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Mansi ma'am. Sweta ji, would you like to share some message, give a message to the young professionals who are entering the water profession? Just a small 30-40 seconds of.
Oh, right. Okay. So my message to them will be, you need to flow like water. It's all about flow, and you have to go in whatever direction it takes you. Do not stop yourself. Do not worry about work-life balance. Life has to go on. Your life has to flow like water, not just you. So you must continue your steps in life, professionally, personally, everything has to flow in parallel. You cannot say water will flow, but the fish will not, or the other sediments of water will not. So the youngsters, this is what I'll say. And whatever you do, do it with passion. Do it with passion. Do not question it. Work hard. This is the time to work hard. We used to work 20 hours and not be tired when I was young. That's the only thing I'll say.
You really nailed it, huh? Literally 16, 18 hours, huh?
Yeah, we used to do that, and it used to not feel like we're working.
No.
We used to just have fun. I still have close friends from that time, right? We build those relationships. Again, my point in life is about relationships. It is not about my job. It is not about my title or my career. It is about the people I am with today and yesterday and tomorrow I'll be with. Yeah.
In fact, there is a saying also that you are well known, or you are known more by your connectivity than your capability, and also to get work, you need good connections to show your capability that I can do it. Or,
Absolutely. It's all about your network, but not in the commercial sense of network. When I make friends with you, it's not with the intent of getting something from you.
Getting profit out of it. Yeah,
exactly. When I make friends with you, I'm
growing together. It's co-learning and growing together.
Correct. So I'm part of the Alumni Association for my college, VGT Alumni Association, and I'm in the managing committee, and I can see the network they have, existing network. They're close friends. They're people who, I would say the average age there is 70 almost, because they've been together for so many years. But you can see that they are friends. They are not about working in this organization. So to me, if I can get somewhere and have that circle, that'd be fantastic.
Thank you so much, Sweta ji, for joining us today. The session was personally very inspiring for me, and I'm sure so was the case for the audience. We are grateful to have learned about your water endeavors. We look forward to the coming Mondays and Mondays to come to learn more about Women for Water. The next Monday Munching and Musing is on 20th Feb with Amrita Dhiman. For regular updates, please follow our social media platform. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you very much, Mansi and Anubhuti.
You, Sweta, and it was really nice to hear you. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Bye.